Rise and shine, wild ones. It's Bernadette King. I'm here with your Pick a Card Daily Tarot reading for Monday, September 21st, 2020. And the animal ally that's joined us today is the dolphin. Yay! I'm from Florida. We love dolphins. And in my deck, the dolphin is it correlates to the Knight of Cups from the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. And if you're just joining us, I use my award-winning Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck to read for you, and I explain all of the traditional symbolism of the Rider-Waite card, and then teach you how to infuse that with all the delicious animal ally energy and medicine for the day. So Mondays are the root chakra day. The planetary influence is the moon, so it's all about the feels. You're just back to work. Gosh knows what happened over the weekend. Could be fabulous, could be meh, could be maybe not so much. But today is the day we're going to get everything back on track. So let's talk about the Knight of Cups from the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck first. Now, what is not to love about this knight? Okay, first of all, who doesn't love a knight in shining armor, right? And this knight happens to be the most feminine of the knights in the tarot because the contents, if you take a look at the card, he's carrying a cup, and it's just filled with everything that's life-giving, life-affirming, and it can restore life even if you are, like at your end of your rope and you're just like, I can't make it one more step. This is over. The end is near. I'm circling the drain. No. The Knight of Cups, in that cup is water, wine, punch, beer, a kombucha. It could be anything. But whatever it is, it can breathe life back into you. So remember, when you see this card, if you've got something that you feel like, wow, this is not going to go so well, not true. The Knight of Cups could very well turn that around for you. Now, another way to take a look at the Knight of Cups is if you take a look at the landscape that he's on, you'll see that it's kind of barren, but a river runs through it. And that's going to correlate back to the water element of the dolphin. Water, again, is about all of those emotions. It's taking time to dive deep, not being afraid to dive deep, because dolphin teaches us that no matter how deep we dive, we've got to come up for air sometime. They can't stay underwater forever, and neither can we, no matter how delicious it is down there. And certainly if it's, the emotions are maybe a little murky and not so great, you can come up for water anytime you need to or want to. So just remember that, because Mondays, I call them hair on fire days. When friends and family call them, they're like, hey, do you have a minute? I'm like, if someone's dying, yes. Other than that, my hair is on fire, right? So I have to remember, and I'm asking you to remember, and Dolphin is asking you to remember, to please come up for air, recognize it, breathe into it, know when you need to. Now, if you look on the Knight of Cups card, the traditional Rider-Waite, you're going to see on his little booty boots there, he's got wings. Now, those are the wings of Hermes, and that tells you that the messages that are coming to you are divine. And it can be really hard when we're like really deep in our feels. We can think like, well, okay, I'm just thinking this, or I'm feeling this, or I think I'm getting this message. Nah, it's just because I'm in the emotional state that I'm in. The Knight of Cups asks you to take another look at that, because that might be a divine message coming to you, and not just you trying to fool yourself or thinking, don't pass it off as coinky dink. Take a second look at it and decide for yourself. Now, the other thing about Mondays is, man, wham, we hit Mondays with a bang. Gotta get it done. Gotta move. But deep inside, we're like, oh my God, is it really Monday? Totally get it. But you don't have to move at that crazy pace. That's what Tuesdays are for. So just today, have some self-love, which oh, by the way, Dolphin is all about. We'll get to Dolphin as a spirit totem power animal in a minute. But have some self-love and just go throughout your Monday at a measured pace. Don't feel just because you're the knight on a horse that horse has to gallop. Horses like to walk just as much as the rest of us. And if they're not in a hurry, they really, really hate to be rushed. And it's really hard to rush a 1,600-pound animal. Believe me, I know. I grew up in Ocala, Florida, around horses. So just take today, clop, 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 one step in front of the other. You'll get there. Also, even though Mondays can kind of have you going like this, right, in the water, in the fields, if you're doing that, if you're not getting seasick, that can be a lot of fun. And that's where you can bring in that dolphin energy. But if you're not really having fun and you're feeling a little seasick from the back and forth and up and down and oh my God, just take a second, focus on the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is about balance and emotions. And so it can help you kind of bring all that to an even keel where you don't have to feel like you need a bucket or, heaving over the side of a boat, that kind of thing. Again, grew up in Florida. I've had my fair share of seasickness, believe it or not. For a triple water sign, I'm such a land lover. So in any event, again, just give yourself some self-love. Make sure to keep your emotions even keeled out, and you'll be okay. So, moving on with this card, those are some of the symbolism and meaning of the Rider-Waite card that can go for today. And then, of course, there's intuitive tarot, which is really the bulk of what I practice, along with the animal meanings and spirit totem and power animals. And so just when I take a second and I allow spirit to send messages into me, y'all, I have gotten, I would venture to say, as many emails and messages as the next psychic medium, tarot reader person during all this COVID pandemic time, because people have, pandemic, they might have just called it the pandemic. Well, that's what I called it, because people panicked. They just panicked. And it's interesting that the Knight of Cups comes out today, because just over the weekend I was talking to my sister and I was like, listen, I'm just telling you that intuitively, I know the rest of the world, there's an election coming up. Please don't discuss politics on my page. This is not about politics, but as we get closer to that time, as we get closer to the end of the year and people are sick of being stuck in their houses, they're sick of not having jobs, they're sick of mail not getting where it's supposed to go, they're sick of this, they're sick of that. It would seem like there's a ramping up of like frenetic energies, but crazily enough, I feel intuitively that we've turned the corner and slowly, methodically, clop, 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 like a horse's hooves, I feel like we're coming into a time of balance. And so I asked when I pulled the card this morning, I set the intention that spirit would show me, the spirit animal allies would show me if what I was getting was on the money, and sure enough, the Knight of Cups comes up and the Dolphin comes up. So we are moving into a time that this card makes a lot of sense, especially on a Monday, right? That's just like added confirmation. So when I take a look at what this will mean just in terms of spirit totem and power animal energy, uh, I think not only are we coming into a time of balance, but dolphins, listen, we can talk about their symbolism and meaning all day long about, sailors saw them as good fortune. There are a lot of theories that, drunk sailors, of which there were a lot, in earlier times, pirates and the like. That's Some people think manatees, some people think seals, some people think small whales or dolphins are what gave rise to the mermaid, the mermaid myths and legends. And there's all kinds of things, but really at the end of the day, is there anything that can make you smile broader than to see a dolphin, especially when they jump and they twist like the twister dolphins, and they turn and they play and they're little chitters, and of course that permanent smile on their face. And yes, I know I'm ascribing human emotion to animals. Okay, because if you've worked with as many animals as I have, sooner or later it'll clonk you upside the head. They have emotions too, ladies and gentlemen, and they smile too. Maybe they do that as a way of communicating with us, right? Like if we meet somebody from another country that we don't understand their language, we're trying to do biomimicry, like we're trying to mimic their facial expressions and their gestation, their gesticulations and everything we can to try to communicate with them. So dolphins just bring so much joy, and they're so, listen, they're one of the most intelligent animals in the world. Their brains are just crazy, but they're so childlike. They just have that sense of wonder about them still. They still can fill you with that sense of wonder. Pardon me. So my niece she grew up in Florida too, right? She's been a diver and a skier and a swimmer since way back. And she sent me a video. video a couple weeks ago. She was out with her husband in the boat, and a school of dolphins came by them. A pod of dolphins came by them. Oh my God, you'd have thought my 30-something-year-old niece was 9 again, seeing a dolphin for the first time, or 6. She laughed till she cried, and it just filled her with such emotion. And she's in the boat talking to them, trying to, and she's not the only one. There's like a gajillion, YouTube videos, that kind of thing. And what does all of this mean to you? It just means that this Monday is not just any Monday. I think it's the Monday that's tipping the scales for us to move to a more balanced time, a more life affirming and life giving time, and a time where we are just like, yeah, okay. The last few months have maybe not been all that great, and everybody's experienced it differently. Everyone has, but it's really hard to deny the heavy energies that have been floating around the world, right? And that was then. And it was unfortunate, but we're moving on. And life is going on. And not only is it going to go on, it's becoming better, and we're going to have more fun, and we're going to be able to, it's like our eyes got washed out with salt water. It stung at first. Oh, Lordy, did it sting. But once you got the salt out of your eyes, everything looks brighter and fresher and newer, and there's this opportunity to create situations and things that you may have been stuck in a rut and not thinking that you would ever have the opportunity to create, and now you do. So when we take a look at, you're going to have to interpret this for yourself today, right? So for those of you who don't know, the spirit animals downloaded into me a brand new way of working with their energies. And what that means is there's a difference in the way that I teach between a spirit totem and power animal. There's not really a difference, but for the purposes of working with the animal allies, they asked me to teach you this just as a little easier way to understand the energies in the medicine. There's a video that explains this in detail in the notes section below, so take a few minutes and watch that video. But briefly, if a dolphin is coming to you today as your spirit animal, like the animal that you really, really needed for today, it is about self-love. Because if you are not there, how exactly is it that you're really going to be a fountain of unconditional, true love for everything and everyone around you? And the reason I say that is it'll go so well for so long, and then you'll peter out. You can't give wine from an empty cask. You cannot give water from an empty cup. And so you've got to learn how to refill that. And if you have not experienced that self-love, then it's really going to be beneficial for you to start today learning how to create that within yourself and keep that replenishment going and going. If dolphin is your totem animal, the animal that you most identify with, oh my gosh, I love you dearly. You are so good at creating happy connections between people. You're so good at bringing people up when they're down. You're so good at getting people to just like take a breath. It's okay. You're so good at removing their anxiety, their grief, getting rid of their tears. Oh my gosh, I love you and honor the work that you do. Thank you. Now, if dolphin is your power animal, if you're deciding, hey, I need to call on dolphin or invoke dolphin as my power animal, then it's really important that there's something about communication. You're really, really focused on how you communicate and potentially really trying to lighten up with your communication. Maybe you've been a little too heavy-handed, too stern, too serious, too barky, and now maybe it's time to chitter and laugh and get your point across with compassion and jokes and fun and humor, because y'all know you can tell people they are the biggest a-hole in the whole world, and as long as you tell them with some humor in it, they'll laugh with you and go, yeah, I probably could have handled that differently. Whereas if you just walk up to them and go, hey, jackass, you might get poked. So careful when you invoke dolphin energy, because you may become the life of the party that day. You may become the class clown that day, and that's fine. Everyone will really appreciate it. So I hope you all have a wild and free Monday. I hope that today you turn everything around to be fun and even keel with your emotions and maybe with a little brighter look towards the future for the rest of this year and moving into 2021. So again, I'm Bernadette King. I am the creator and channel of the award-winning Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you haven't gotten your deck yet, you're going to want to get it. Your animal allies will bring so much to your life. All right, but what's the most important thing? What's the most important thing, everybody? To stay wild.